Hello and welcome to Global News Factory. What is sovereignty? Let's start at square one. Sovereignty means a country's right to make its own choices, to govern itself, set its policies, and decide who it wants to be friends with, without outside interference. Sounds simple, right? Well, not if you're dealing with the thugs in the European Union. The EU has just issued a not so subtle threat to Serbia. If President Aleksandar Vucic attends Russia's Victory Day parade in Moscow on May 9th, Serbia's chances of joining the EU might go up in smoke. Let's add context. Russia is marking the 80th anniversary of the Soviet Union's victory over Nazi Germany, a massive event in Russian history. On this day, a massive military parade is held in Moscow. Serbia has a direct historical link here. Back in World War II, when Serbia was under Nazi occupation, it was the Red Army that came to its rescue. For Serbia, this is not about politics. It's about remembering history. But Brussels clearly sees it differently. European Commission officials, including Enlargement Commissioner Marta Kos, told Vucic in no uncertain terms, "Attend that parade and your EU dreams will take a hit." In plain speak, do as we say or else. Now, is this democracy? This is respect for sovereignty? Austria's Dominic Knapp, leader of the Freedom Party, is having none of it. He has called out the EU's pressure campaign as blackmail and unacceptable. And he is right. Knapp said Serbia is being punished not because it's done anything wrong, but because it does not blindly follow the EU's failed policies. Instead, it puts its own interests, its own citizens first. He even pointed to the double standards. Turkish President Erdogan has been launching military campaigns against the Kurds and has not lifted a finger against Russia, and yet he faces no threats, no blackmail. But Serbia, which simply wants to honor a historical alliance, is being slammed. Hypocrisy much? And this is not the first time Serbia has been arm twisted. 3 years back, Serbia's intelligence chief, Aleksandar Vucic, was forced to resign. Why? Because the EU and the Biden administration did not like his pro-Russia stance. Vucic, in a statement, said, "They asked for my head." The price for avoiding sanctions? Throw Vucic under the bus. And before that, the US Treasury slapped sanctions on him, accusing him of being corrupt. But the real crime, it seems, was supporting Russia. It's always about Russia. Support Russia in any way, even just historically or symbolically, and you are suddenly an enemy of the EU, or at least liberal elites. But the EU conveniently forgets that Eastern Europe has a long and complex history with Russia. And for many countries, including Serbia and Slovakia, the Red Army was a savior, not a villain. That is not Russian propaganda, that is historical fact. Slovakia's Prime Minister Robert Fico spoke of this fact just last year. He said the Soviet role in defeating fascism must be respected and remembered. Here is what he said. The Slovak government values the legacy of the fight against fascism, the historical truth about World War II, and the role played by the Red Army in it. That is why the Slovak government will organize a number of events, the most important of which will be the celebration of the victory over fascism in May. The EU may want to erase or rewrite this part of history, but Eastern Europe remembers. And nations like Serbia have every right to decide which parts of their past they want to celebrate without being lectured, bullied, or blackmailed by Brussels bureaucrats. Because at the end of the day, if you cannot even choose who you stand next to in a parade, do you really have sovereignty? And that's all for today. Thanks for staying with me. You're watching Global News Factory.